Welcome out, everybody, right here, right now. I would like to introduce you and bring you into Black Power Media. This right here is the RemiX Morning Show, and I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And let me introduce you to your host today. We have Kalanji Jama Changa. We got Kamal K. Franklin. And Jackie Lupman.
What up?
Hey, everybody.
What's happening?
Good morning.
Now it's too much reverb. Now it's just too much reverb.
There's no.
I was saying that last week, man. Sound like we was in a toilet or something.
I'll turn it down. I'll turn it down a little, Mr. 801. I got you.
Okay.
Except on my name. What you should do is just reserve it for
you.
Yeah. Jackie, you look beautiful today.
Damn, today?
Thank
I mean, every day. Every day. I mean, every day.
Well,
but you look like you
backhanded
look
compliment.
dressed.
No,
I don't know, Jackie.
There, I don't.
Maybe I'll
Thank
just.
you.
Wow.
Here we go. Welcome to the RemiX Morning Show, Black Power Media. We in the building. It is Tuesday morning, March 1st, the beginning of African History Month. Now, we just went through Black History Month, but we are now entering African History Month. And this is a very revolutionary month, starting off with today. Today is a powerful day. Today is we mark the 126th anniversary, the Battle of Adwa. You know what I'm saying? So the Ethiopians were victorious today, maintaining their independence against the Italians. In other words, they put their foot all up in the Italians' ass and forced them to step back. You know what I'm saying? The Italians was trying to take control of that Red Sea
area. I haven't heard before.
Yeah.
So foot in the Italians' ass.
Foot up in the Italian ass. They stomped the mud hole in them. So anyway, so we commemorate that. Also, it is, what is today? The 68th, I believe, 68-year anniversary of the situation when the beautiful 4 Puerto Rican nationalists went up into the U.S. Congress and start busting shots. Lethal LeBron came in there firing on some Jonathan Jackson type joint. Like, listen,
LeBron James?
No, I said Lolita LeBron. How dare you? How dare you? Anyway, so Lolita, along with Irving Flores Rodriguez, Andres Cordero, and Rafael Miranda, known to us as Don Rafael. They went up into the U.S. Congress in 1954, and Lolita dropped the flag on them and let them know that, it was going down. She said, "Viva Puerto Rico Libre," as she emptied the chambers of her Luger and, unfurled her flag. 5 U.S. Congressmen were shot that day. They were wounded, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying?
Leave it alone.
Yes. And the comrades end up serving 25 years before the Peanut Man, Jimmy Carter, commuted their sentence in 1979. So
the one thing he did right.
Hey, man.
Gotta give him that.
Broke clock is right twice a day. So I want to also say, salute to Don Rafael, Rafael Miranda, who we had the opportunity to work with here in Atlanta very briefly for during the U.S. Social Forum. With him, there's a panel that was put together by Davey D, and shout out to Davey D, which consisted of Daruba, my man Kazi Torre, Don Rafael, and someone else. Yeah, who I can't think of right now. I actually interviewed her on the joint from the Weather Underground. Can't think of her name right now. I'm kind of stuck right now, but don't worry about it. Anyway, Don Rafael made his transition 2 years ago in 2020, one day after the anniversary of this situation. So tomorrow will be the anniversary of his death. So anyway, I wanted to hit y'all with that little bit of
like the historian over here, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kid, man.
I can see that in the curriculum textbook.
Mm-hmm.
Foot up the ass.
Foot up the ass of the Italians. That's why they should still like a boot right now. You know what I'm saying? There's some Ethiopia. There's Ethiopians boot. They put that shit up in them so far, they breath is smelling like Timberland soles. But anyway,
And in Harlem and in a lot of Black communities across the country, but particularly in Harlem, Black men tried to sign up
That's right.
to go to Ethiopia to help fight the Italians. But as white folks did earlier, signed up to go to fight for the Italians and for the U.S. in World War I and in other wars. But you know what the State Department did? Denied their right to do that, and literally threatened those brothers with prison if they did leave the United States. If those who had, exit papers, they were denied exit papers. And basically the government said, if you leave and try to come back, we're going to put you in jail. So, yeah, this idea that there's no solidarity between Africans and our folks on the continent, historically, that's never been true.
Yeah. Where's our anti-imperialist spirit today, though? That's the question.
Not only that, the Russians, they supplied some of the Ethiopians with some artillery during that battle as well. So, we don't always remember certain things, or we get amnesia, or we just don't study at all. So we don't know what the hell.
Or we listen to the propaganda from corporate media about who our friends are and who our enemies are.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. The Russians were also like, fuck the Italians. Yes. We would also say fuck the Italians.
Okay.
That wasn't bad. I wasn't bad.
Okay. I don't know. Okay.
I wasn't sure if it was Italian or Russian, but it was a good attempt.
I know. It's just
man, shit. I didn't know what the fuck it was. I thought it was Portuguese for a second.
Hey now.
Don't mind me. Anyway, checking out the Remix Morning Show, and these other two good people here. Of course, they lost their mind a long time ago, but we're gonna find it today.
Stop looking. I stopped looking.
Yes. So we got a powerful show coming, man. We have an interview coming up at the 9 o'clock hour. Matter of fact, we got interviews every day this week. So
all right.
Make sure we fill y'all in. Make sure we keep it live and direct. Yes. So what's the happenings, man? What's going on, man? I mean, it's a war. As Mobb Deep said, there's a war going on outside.
It's another imperialist action. It's not. I wouldn't even. I've not been wanting to use the word Russian invasion, and it's wild because people are funny because like the past 2 days it have been really, really busy, obviously. But people are like, well, I don't know if I should listen to you. You work for the Russians. Well, you weren't concerned about me working for the Russians when you asked me to help me with your bills last month. I don't. Now you have a concern about. I know one thing. The Russians let me say whatever the fuck I want on their airways, except for the cuss words. I can't. I can't do it.
Don't worry, because
the
blacks at Black Power Media, you can
use the cuss words too.
I can use the cuss words and say whatever.
Right. Well, it's interesting too, because social media is either banning or putting restrictions on Sputnik and Russian TV. So any alternative news that doesn't fit the line or the narrative of what the Western war machine wants, so how they want to portray, and I won't call it an invasion, but how they want to portray the invasion. It's a very interesting dialectic about how that is taking place, of course. So,
yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because on Twitter, they were already marking content from RT, China, China Global News and Sputnik as state-sponsored media, but of course they don't label CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, NPR as state-funded media, because they absolutely are. All of them are state-funded.
But wait! I can't believe you all talking about. I mean, Black Power Media. We got to point this out on Instagram. We've gotten so many different inboxes and text messages and all that type of stuff. Anytime folks are trying to tag Black Power Media in anything on Instagram, it's being taken down. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. We get a whole lot of messages, and shout out to all the good folks out there who've been letting us know. But yeah, anything or most of the things that I've been seeing, folks are saying that they are tagging us in it, and they're sending us screenshots of it saying that this content is not whatever, and it doesn't have to say anything with anything. It's just Black Power Media, period. So do not think that that we're not on the target list. So we don't have to go to Sputnik. You know what I'm saying? We can right here, and it's not a badge of honor, but at the same time, fuck them. What's happening, Tierney? How you doing?
Yep.
You in the building?
What up, Tierney?
I'm good. How is everyone?
Good.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Listening in. Go ahead. Continue.
Okay. You came in beating Kamal time today. I mean, like, what's going on? Like, Kamal, you tried to outdo you today.
No, I was looking for the link, but I had to log in, and I had to look for the login, so it took longer. Yeah,
that's what happens to me all the time.
I just text Kalanji and tell him, give me her code, doggone it.
Oh yeah.
He don't respond to me no more. He's like, find it yourself.
Hey, Jackie, the difference between you and Kamal is Kamal actually set the account up, so I don't know how the hell he knows.
How do you, Mr. Account? How
you figure age? It's all going. It's all seeping out.
Okay.
You don't gotta shake your head too much, Tyranny. It's all seeking out. It's all
Yeah. Tierney, like, why you put me in the corner with him?
If I get my name right, I think of that as a victory.
Lawyer corner.
2 attorneys, and you wonder why. Wonder why the population is so bad.
Huh.
They was late for the trial. Anyway, thank y'all.
You can't start without us. Okay.
Thanks for your service. Anyway, we got our main man, the ear doctor. He lurking in the background and whatnot. He looked like
he's a lurker. He's a lurker.
He's a lurker.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a little bit. Yeah.
Said the man's a lurker. That sounds kind of bad.
I need y'all to relax. It's kind of a little too creepy. A
little too creepy.
A little bit.
He got his red light special going today though.
Hey, a little bit early in the day for that, but I mean,
you got a girl over, son? You got a girl over? What's going on?
I'm not judging.
First of all, I don't mess with girls. I mess with women.
Oh.
And second of all,
you should mess with, brother. You should be committed.
Oh, see, I deal with. You're right. Not mess with. I deal with. Anyway, with that said, yeah, it's a red light special. It's always a party. Big up to all those people that came out Sundays and rocked with me as we did the Gangstar crew mix, and people that tuned in for the doctor's office and got to see the Renegade Culture flashback clips. That was real dope. Had Ja High come through, so we was chilling, talking about it.
Oh my God, how was Ja?
Yeah, he's good.
It make me cry a tear. Oh my God.
Oh.
Nah,
just one though.
Ja is here every Sunday. He produces Sundays. Did you know that? Yeah,
no, I did not know.
Yeah.
I
tune in one of these days. Come out. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go to the weather right about now.
All right.
I love these guys. All right. So welcome out once again to the Remix Morning Show. Once again, I am the Ear Doctor, and y'all are tuned into one of the best morning shows in the world. So what we're gonna do now is make sure we hit that like, that subscribe button, tell a friend it's on again every Tuesday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and check out I Mix What I Like on the other 2 days. That's Monday and Friday at the same time. And go to patreon.com and drop some change in the bucket because we're doing some things here. We got some things in the works. So make sure y'all help us with that. With that said, we're going to take y'all to the weather. The weather report, as we're going to do today, is we are going to start off in all the major cities that got an abbreviation. So first, let's start off with the ATL. ATL, we got a high today of 65 degrees. Beautiful. I was outside playing ball yesterday. Killing them. Had a young 20-year-old trying to play me on the court. I took him out. He's like, I can't believe you. I didn't believe it. All right, next we're going to go to Chocolate City, D.C. D.C. got a high today of 58 degrees. Big up to DC. Next, let's take it over to the Chi, also known as the Windy City, also known as Chirac. It got a high today of 43 degrees. 43 degrees. Next, let's take it over to NY. That's right, New York. They got a high, New York, the Rotten Apple and all that. They got a high today of 46. 46 degrees. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Now let's take it out to LA, the city of Los Angeles. They got a high today of 84 degrees. And next, let's take it to another UK, another abbreviation, United Kingdom. They got a high today of 12. That's cold. But next, let's take it over to this one place that's colder than the white man. What is this? Ukraine. That's right. Ukraine, the place where it's cold as the white man, but not just that cold. It's cold as all these Nigerian students that could not get out of Ukraine. That's right. Now that's cold. When you stuck in a place that's cold and there's that war and you can't get out and they not letting you out, that's colder than the white man, boy. That's what it is. That's in Kyiv. Did I say that right? Kyiv, Ukraine. That's right. 34 degrees today. If I got it wrong, you know how it is. I don't give a. Anyway, let's get back to the morning show and our hosts. Let's go. All right.
Say it with me. Say
It does say
Kyiv?
Kyiv Liu Kang.
Say
Kyiv?
it with me, my
Yeah,
dude.
Kyiv.
Kiev.
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 Yeah, not Kyiv.
No.
Teamwork make the dream work.
It is
Kiev.
Ukraine, not Liu Kang.
I said Ukraine.
Yeah, but you stuttered it out. You weren't sure at first. I think you did say Luke.
I just got big
Ukraine.
lips. That's all.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you, Air Doctor, for the
Thank
weather
you.
report.
Thank you.
No doubt.
And making sure that folks know that there are Africans in the Ukraine because
Right.
of the fact that we keep talking about the white man, the white man, the white man, like Africans ain't everywhere on the planet. You know what I'm saying? So,
No doubt.
shout out to them. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Well, I'll catch you on next break. Let's get with that news.
Peace.
Yes.
That
Slap
news.
it the map. Let's go.
The map.
Yep, let's slap it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just laughing at the connections of imperialism that are just. Sorry. Proceed, host, lead host. Proceed.
So good. Welcome back to the Remix Morning Show. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm just here so I won't get fined. Shout out to all my Africans. Anyway, what's in the news today, man? What we want to talk about? Do we want to kick off talking about the Ukraine, or do we want to start off talking about Biden's new black woman nominee with her nice white husband? I'm noticing that for some reason, in order for you to get appointed here in America, you got to have a white counterpart. I don't give a damn if you're the mayor of Chicago. I don't care if you're the vice president of the United States. You better have somebody white with you, or you better have some white in you. You
Walk you through the door. You gotta have to. It's like I vouch for her.
Yeah,
To make her Supreme Court.
This black girl magic is with me.
Right there. Right there. Right there.
I'm with this Negro. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I will never. Maybe the closest I could ever get would maybe Tommy on Power. I don't know. That's pretty much.
Oh man, Jackie.
That's as
Jackie.
close.
Not a Brad Pitt. No Brad Pitt.
I had to take Jackie out the screen for that. You out of order.
Took off the screen.
We're not talking about no Tommy from no damn. We don't do that no more, Jack. Anyway, let's go. I did that for Abdus. Those were Abdus. Anyway,
I got one for you. I mean, I know we're going to hit on Ukraine in a bigger way, but this was something that I think Amanda Seals and other people have been pointing out. Again, this is the Western. the coverage of the war and how the white racism just can't control itself. And so a lot of the coverage is using language like, and I'll just quote it to put it bluntly, these are not refugees from Syria. These are refugees from Ukraine. They're Christians. They're white. They're very similar to us, explaining why Poland is accepting refugees. And these are news reporters, right? Another one is, we are in the 21st century. We are in a European city, and we have cruise missiles fired as though we are in Iraq or Afghanistan. Can you imagine? And then this one, it's very emotional for me because I see European people with blue eyes and blonde hair being killed. Ukraine's deputy chief prosecutor. And then lastly, the unthinkable has happened. This is not a developing third world nation. This is Europe.
No.
All the angst because white folks are getting bombs dropped on them.
Right.
I just, it's just incredible.
Weeping for white folks. Good God Almighty.
Yeah. They really can't help themselves, though. It's so funny when, no matter how woke the culture gets at certain moments, woke, whatever that is, they always revert back. And it goes back to realizing, although I hate this phrase Black Lives Matter, just because it's like, yeah, of course. But internationally, there's always been a sentiment that non-European people are always more valuable than indigenous people. And whenever you hear casualties being reported, oh, Ukrainians are being bombed, oh, this 20 Ukrainians killed. And then I remember like seeing things like this, and you see a headline, like a little headline go across, 150 people killed in Syria. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you weep for one, and then at the same time you can easily look past the other little headline and not even give it another thought? But that's a reminder to me why I mean, it's not to say that I engage in that and don't look at Ukrainian lives as lives also, but I certainly don't go I don't follow the media's narrative. I understand that the media's job is to feed us what they want to what story they want to us to go with, give us basically the mindset that we are inferior and they are superior. And so I intentionally go out of my way to not hyper focus and to diversify, my concerns. If everyone's talking about Ukraine, then I want to know what's going on over here. And I want to know what's going on in Africa. I want to know what's going on in Latin America. And I think that's what we have to always do as African people, no matter what's happening, because there's always going to be this intentional effort by the media to hyper sympathize with European lives over indigenous people.
Mm-hmm. I think. And then one last thing I wanted to add quickly is I don't have a tape of it, but it's also been reported. Like Sky News was reporting. People probably saw this a couple of days ago, where Ukrainians were out in the street and putting together Molotov cocktails, right, or like trying to put together defending, right? Mm-hmm. And the way it was reported was the heroic Ukrainian people using any means at their disposal. And obviously comparisons are so when the Afghanistans or the Iraqis or the Palestinians or other folks put out, if they do that though, they're terrorists. There's no positive news coverage of making Molotov cocktails, except if you're white and you're going up against an official U.S. enemy. And then it's a heroic struggle to defend your land.
They had that on Facebook. They had the videos showing how to make Molotov cocktails. And they even talked about, in one of the comments I saw, you have to put detergent in it because the petrol itself will burn too fast. So that would stick longer and all this type shit. I'm like, you mean to tell me that we could talk about whatever issue in the Black community and they'll put a warning thing over it, or they'll take it down all the way, but they can show some Ukrainians actually making Molotov cocktails.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Online. I'm like, boy, these crackers are incredible. I don't even call it racist, and I don't, and it's not even about, because I hear folks saying, I can't believe that they're being outwardly racist. I mean, I applaud you for that. I applaud you, and I give gratitude because of the fact that you're only saying what we already know. We want to act shocked every time, like, oh, they said nigga. I mean, they treat you like nigga. You know what I'm saying? So who cares if they say it or not? But yeah, but aside from that, they had the white boy, the Ukrainian, who they deemed a hero because of the fact that he decided to detonate the bridge and kill himself so that the Russians wouldn't come over there. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Get up
Which was
out
a
of
complete
here.
waste because they got drones and aircraft. So I'm like, I'm not sure who you're slowing down.
But propaganda.
No, of course. Yeah.
The Hill did a really good excerpt, the Hill news site, on like just how many fake news, whatever you want to call it, stories have come out from the Ukraine side. And the thing I noticed is that these are things that I consistently were seeing trending on Twitter. So, you know, the ghost of Kiev, like it turns out that's a complete fake, but it was trending on Twitter. A number of other like the stories, the Ukrainian people, they're defending themselves and all these things. And that again just brings back the reminder that we have to understand these things are not trending on their own. Like, and the fact that even on Twitter, I don't know if y'all noticed, like you'll randomly see something like fact check. This was not true, or from some random fact that no one was even caring about. This is something that was trending on Twitter, and there's been no fact check to correct and say, no, this is not happening. So that tells me that these social media entities are really in direct contact, working directly with Central Intelligence Agency, whoever else, to push the narrative and really push propaganda.
Saturday Night Live, instead of doing their normal bad skit,
that was ridiculous,
did another bad skit by having Ukrainian singers come out and do a whole song about the invasion of their country. So the propaganda is, I mean, people have to, it's a propaganda model, right? And some people are, you know, they do it because, you know, the State Department puts out, do this. And then other people do it because they believe and they are so indoctrinated in the propaganda model. It's almost like, you know, the way that E. Franklin Frazier talks about the Black bourgeoisie. You know, it's akin to the way Noam Chomsky in particular has sort of talked to manufacturing consent, where it's like, you don't got to tell you like what to do anymore. All they got to do is show you some clips, and your mind is programmed to say like, oh, it's propaganda time. Because they never, you know, when the U.S. is paying for bombs to get dropped, again, I'm using Palestine as an example. I don't think I've seen a Palestinian chorus or Palestinian folks up here talking about how their land has just been bombed or anything of that nature.
Anybody from Nigeria? No, anybody from you know? Did we get a choir for NSARS?
Man, listen.
Did we?
The Sudan, on, Niger. I mean, it's incredible that you have Black folks who don't even know that there's conflict in the Congo. You have Black folks that don't even know that there's conflict in Rwanda. You have Black folks that don't even know that there's conflict in Ethiopia. But yet, as soon as what Malcolm said, you bleed when white folks say bleed. You know what I'm saying? We cry tears when they cry. You know what I mean? I mean, you guys to be totally out of your mind. And no, that doesn't mean that we're siding with Russia or siding with anyone. But we're clear about who our enemies are. You know what I'm saying? And we're not going to be confused into saying, okay, when America weeps, we weep. Nah, man, I'm still sad about, you know what I'm saying, about what they did to George Floyd. I'm still mourning Emmett Till. You know what I'm saying? I'm still mourning the Mau Mau in Kenya. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have too many tears left for anyone else. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my English. But that's just the reality of this thing, man. So yeah, man, we in bad shape, man. We're in real bad shape.
Good English.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure. But anyway, shout out to all the freedom fighters out there who's you know, who aren't afraid to stand against tyranny and oppression.
Not tyranny.
Yeah,
we love tyranny.
Yeah,
tyranny.
A lot of people think it's the same thing. I'm like, it's not spelled the same.
not even the same neighborhood. We have to go to their doctor to find out what he has to say about that. If he says it's cool, then we'll ride on. But anyway, what else we got with Jackie?
You know, Kamal, I'm glad you brought up that you know the post the issues about you know, the Nigerians, and it's not just Nigerians, it's Ghanaians, it's Indians, Brazilians, anybody for Jamaicans, anybody from countries that are non-European. They have mostly students. Now, I wasn't aware of this until just yesterday when I was researching for monologue for the show, a lot of the African, Brazilian, Colombian people who are trying to leave, who are being denied exit, are students. And the issue is that apparently it's less expensive to study in Ukraine than it is in other European countries. But my question is, and this is something that I am going to kind of try to dig into on a show later on this week, where I'm going to have Ricky Ryan and Onyesonwu Chatoya are going to join me. And we're going to talk about what NATO is doing in these countries that all of these people come from, because it's not just about education. It's about it's about the fact that their economies are so weak that they honestly cannot provide the kind of affordable infrastructure for their own people to improve their lives, like get an education, right? Why is that? So then we have to look at the connections to not just US influence in their countries, but also NATO and the EU. So we're going to kind of dig into that. But a lot of these folks were students, and their embassies, a lot of their embassies were like, we ain't got nothing for you, man. It's like this, I think, shows the weakness of so many of these. I don't think weakness is the right word. The complicity of so many of these countries' leaders, because these people have been approved by the US imperialist power and its allies, the leaders of these countries. So these embassies that are suddenly, it seems like to people, these embassies are suddenly powerless to do anything to help their people get out of Ukraine. They're not suddenly powerless. They have been rendered powerless by the people they have decided to play ball with so that they could have a little bit more influence, they think, on the international stage, but they don't even have enough influence to get their own people out of a war zone that the very same people that they decided to enter into this relationship with, the US, the EU, and NATO, created. So I think it's really important that while we are talking about this issue in the Ukraine, we understand that, yeah, our people are everywhere, but there's kind of a reason for that, other than, we can go anywhere we want. But I remember Abdus told a story about when he was behind the walls, he met a brother who was from Libya. And he said, I've never met anybody from Libya. And the brother told him, you know why? He said, because Libyans never had to go anywhere for anything that we wanted. We had everything. Gaddafi gave us everything. We had, you got married, he gave you money to start your family. You had a baby, he gave you money to, you needed housing, he provided housing. You wanted to go to school, he provided education. Women wanted to go to college, he had no problem with that. Everything we wanted, we had in Libya. We had no reason to go outside of the country to pursue the things that we wanted. But all of that changed, after he was done away with. But it's that kind of thing where we have to look at why our people are in other countries in such large numbers. And it is not just all the time like with what we see in the Americas, the US destabilizing governments and propping up narco dictatorships and that kind of thing. And there's literal war in the streets. But sometimes it is that what the US calls soft power, which is just another kind of imperialism, where they prop up a leader. That leader imposes neoliberal austerity policies that don't help the people. People want a better life, and they're forced to go somewhere else to get it.
That's the standard. And that's more the standard. Like, it's the overthrow only happens when quote unquote leaders get out of line. Right. The standard is that people submit their economies. And to depersonalize Libya a little bit, it's about what Gaddafi did with the resources, right? So it was the resource distribution that allowed for those other things to happen, state resources, as opposed to being privatized and going at the beck and call of corporations and tax breaks, individual tax breaks for billionaires. the resources were spread across. I mean, that's why it's ridiculous when we look at the continent of Africa and we see it's the most resource continent, right, in the world in terms of these nations having these different resources, but yet their resources are stripped away from them because of the economic order that the West imposes and then tells us that that's just the way it is, and that these so-called leaders stay in these systems which don't benefit the larger amount of their people, which causes destabilization, right? Which gets past causes wars and civil strife, but those leaders get rich, their family members get rich, and so that's what they care about, right? And then, as we all know, the anti-colonial leaders, the socialists, the communists, the nationalists, revolutionary nationalists, were killed off, right? Killed off or jailed or imprisoned or kicked out. So we have a very purposeful system here. And again, as we talked about, the reason Russia is of the ire, prior to the Soviet Union, is because whether or not it was always correct, whether or not the ideology fit, whether or not it was a white man's ideology, it provided resources and an alternative, and it still does at times, to break out of the US and Western orbit. And the West does not allow that, which is why the West continues to surround Russia and try to expand NATO so that they can control it. And basically the cause of this war, this invasion, this conflict is because Russia kept telling the West, stop. And the West agreed at certain points to stop and signed international agreements that it wouldn't expand NATO into Georgia and then into Ukraine, and broke those agreements.
That's right.
And Russia is strong enough to say, no. We're not Syria, right? We're not Afghanistan. We're not Iraq.
Or Yemen.
Or Yemen. We're not any of those countries, any of those places, by whatever the luck of the draw, we have a military and we have technology and we will use it.
Yeah. And to add on to what you're saying, when you talk about the whole soft power situation, I mean, the reality is it's just like, Black folks here in America. It's like when you see what the feds were talking about in COINTELPRO, when they were talking about if the youth have to know that, and I'm paraphrasing, that if they become revolutionaries, then they'll be dead revolutionaries. You know what I'm saying? These other countries already see what the United States is capable of. They see what the West is capable of. They know that NATO are the running dogs. They know that the UN is in cahoots. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's either like do or die. It's like you're in school, you seen this bully punch 10 people in the face. You're up next. Either you're gonna fight or you're gonna die. Russia's choosing to fight. Unfortunately, a lot of these other countries choose to die, or they get sucked in by the bully, like Georgia made the attempt to do. Georgia got bold. They was like, look, we not, we gonna roll with NATO and on, so on and so forth. And what did Russia do? Russia put the big bear on their ass. You know what I'm saying? Because of the fact it's like, look, you can let these punks gas you up all you want to. You know what I mean? But it's going to be consequences. And that's what's going on in the Ukraine right now. It's like, okay, be bold, Mr. Neo-Nazi. Be bold with these folks over here. But they're not going to be able to save you because you're in our backyard. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing when you're across the water, but you next door to me, I come over there and smack the shit out you. And they can broadcast on international TV and make us look like the big bad bully when in fact you're being backed by the bullies. You know what I'm saying? So imperialism is a serious thing, and the propaganda arm of it, that's the most vital, most powerful tool, because once that propaganda arm is in full effect, then all bets are off, because of the fact that everything begins in the mind. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, if you believe you can conceive it, you'll believe you can achieve it. So, that's just the reality of it.
Yeah. And to go back to your point, Jackie, I mean, I think that's why I really cringe whenever I hear African governments and can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I thought I was muted. When I hear African governments, diplomats, and even some confused African people taking strong positions inside of conflicts like this, the overall problem with Africa is that it's powerless and disorganized. And so really, number one, I don't know if you all saw the Kenyan politician that came out very strongly against the invasion. And number one, regardless of what happens with this conflict, no one's looking to hear what Africa has to say, because Africa is under control. Africa is not able to fend for itself. So going out of your way to put out these opinions about condemning Russia or Ukraine or whatever. Meanwhile, our people are suffering on the ground. Meanwhile, regardless of what happens with this, we're still going to be inside of the same position. This is why I really feel strongly we have to put more focus on what's going on with our people, because the amount of displacement, as you pointed out, Africans are not leaving the continent because they like Europe. I mean, many times whenever you talk to continental Africans or Africans from the Caribbean, they really want to go home. But they know economically they would basically be inside of a tough situation. So the focus has to be for Africa to be independent and Africa to be built in such a way that we would not be dependent on outside interference. But at this point, I feel like the overzealousness for these imperial mega power conflicts from our people, the disfocus, of the fact that regardless of how this thing goes, many of us are still going to starve. That's something I think that we have to rid ourselves of if we're going to be able to change the conditions that we're dealing with.
Yeah, that's true. And I saw that is absolutely right. And I saw a comment in the chat that said, is there a space to critique US, NATO, and Russia? And I feel like what we do when we say things like that is we assign like this equal culpability argument to all players in this, and it's really not. I mean, is Vladimir Putin a nice guy? I don't really give a shit whether the man is a nice guy or not. I have serious problems with his, in his speech, I think it was last Friday when he made his speech before the invasion or whatever you want to call it. He said something about, traditional European values or Russian values or something. That is very important because, Putin is a homophobe. He's a transphobe. He don't like LGBTQIA nothing. And so, yeah, that's real suspect. Outside of that, I mean, he's not rounding up. Putin is not rounding up gay people. He's not telling folks, like, who was it down in Texas? Was it Abbott? Is it Abbott who has told the Department of Health and Human Services that they have to investigate parents providing a gender affirming or seeking gender affirming health care for their trans children, to investigate them as child abuse, those cases as child abuse? That's Putin's not, invading another country to do that, and Russia has trained, if I'm thinking about this correctly, Russia provided training to Frelimo freedom fighters. Russia has provided support in Mali, helping the Malians kick France out. Russia has a historic connection to African liberation fighters. I mean, this is not like defend Vladimir Putin as a person. This is why I don't make these assessments about people, individual people. This is an issue about imperialism. And we cannot say that Russia is an imperialist nation, even if people think that they are. They're certainly not acting in any way the same way that the U.S. is, with its 800 plus military bases around the world and its international armed gang called NATO that it uses to literally bully people into submission, like what they're doing in Ukraine, but like what they're also doing in Somalia. Because let's not forget, or maybe people didn't know, that the U.S. bombed Somalia a few days ago, first time since last year. Just yesterday, Biden imposed sanctions on Somalian leaders. Why? Because they moved the date of an election that was due back. Are you serious? They close polls in this country in mostly Black and poor neighborhoods. Who's sanctioning those people? Mm-hmm. They eliminate early voting. in this country? Who's getting sanctions here? Who can put sanctions on anyone in the US for them denying folks the supposed rights that they have here? Israel bombed, what was it, Yemen? A couple of days ago. Israel bombed Yemen. Saudi Arabia bombed
Usually Saudi Arabia is bombing Yemen and Israel is bombing Syria. At least that's
Syria. That was it. Yeah, it was. I get them confused.
Yeah.
But they did that. I mean, so is Russia doing any of that?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I mean, I guess that's all supposed to be okay because Biden is, he's nominated this Black woman to be the first Black woman on the Supreme Court. That's supposed to make all of this okay. But I don't see a need to criticize Russia for, in the same context that we're criticizing US, NATO, imperialism, because Russia is not doing the same thing.
Yeah. There's a false
US,
equivalency
NATO
that people try to have. Yeah, people try to create this false equivalency. And it's like, we don't live under a Russian created white supremacist world order. We live under a European and American created white supremacist capitalist world order. That's the world order we live under.
Right.
So again, Russia, in terms of post the Soviet Union, obviously has its internal conflicts, but some Russians want to be a part of that order. They mad because they're not being treated correctly to be a part. There's a lot of white supremacists, a lot of Russian white supremacists, white nationalists. So by no means is even talking about it the way we are. Again, as Jackie is saying, there's a history of the Soviet Union / Russia supporting anti-colonial struggles, and we respect that because that was based on ideology. There's also sub-history, particularly after the fall or destruction of the Soviet Union, in which Russians, right, wanted to join and be a part of the order, and basically didn't like how they were treated. Basically, right. They were like, wait a minute. Remember, we came from the G7 to the G8. They were down with that. Russia was made a part of that. They wanted all that. They voted with the Western powers on putting sanctions on Iran, right? They were down with that. But they stopped being down with it when they saw NATO continuing to expand on their borders. And then they got their own religion. It was like, wait a minute. Right. We're just being crushed here and being played. And so we're going to try to break out of this orbit and reestablish ourselves.
But I do think one mistake that I think is often being made is that when it comes to, yes, we understand that the global economic order is controlled by the United States, threatened right now by China, but controlled by the United States. US dollars run the world. US military is everywhere. But I do think there has to be more nuance whenever we're talking about current Africa that we know is completely occupied with neocolonial puppets throughout the continent, because any type of relationship with any government in a neocolonial puppet, and that relationship does not try to disrupt the colonial situation inside of an African country, is not pushing forward for the masses of African people. So, for example, Central African Republic has broken ties with France. Russia has come in as an aid. Now, has Russia come in to disrupt the horrible atrocities being done by that president? No, they're coming in as an aid. Whenever France leaves, they're going to fight Islamist terrorism, but which I think honestly many times is not the cause of the conflicts, but is a reaction to the destabilization continental wide. So I think we can have multiple conversations. We know that the issue of the U.S. dominating the world. We know that U.S. imperialism rules, and we know that this current order is dominated by NATO and U.S. interests. But at the same time, my focus being, the powerlessness of Africa is always going to be that until we get into a situation where we can control our resources, because there are also Russian companies in Africa exploiting, and you hear about environmental activists. I interviewed one recently where there's a pipeline with that's causing a lot of environmental havoc happening in Africa. That happens with China, happens with the US. We can also understand that they might not be our first enemy, and might not even be an enemy in itself, but the colonial state is what has to be disrupted. And until we disrupt that, no relationship with any superpower is going to be good for the masses, in my opinion.
Right. And we should definitely make sure that we don't get caught up in the whole all lives matter state of mind, because of the fact every time we mention one thing, we're talking about this, so on and so forth. Right now, we know that NATO, the EU, AFRICOM, the US, they've set up shop on the continent of Africa. So we are clear about their particular position. It's no hypothetical business here. It is what it is. Now, am I pro-Russia? No. Am I pro-Europe? No. I'm an African, and I'm African first. You know what I'm saying? I'm against oppression across the planet. But at the same time, I'm clear about who I am and what I represent. So I'm not saying, let's just prop up Russia, so on and so forth. But we do recognize the historical relationship between the two. You know what I'm saying? Between Africa and Russia, between Russia and these other folks. So, we have to stick to the script. I think sometimes we get caught up like, what about black on black crime? You know what I'm saying? Let's deal with one topic at a time. Let's complete this situation. Then we'll deal with Russia and Russia's contradictions. But for now, we know one thing's for sure and two things for certain. We know that the Ukrainians, there's a whole lot of neo-Nazis out there. We clear about that. We clear that they're white supremacists. We see what they're doing to Africans who are trying to escape like they're trying to escape. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not a mystery. So let's deal with one of these points at a time and let's become successful. But the first thing is African History Month. So let's work on us building our relationships with brothers and sisters across the continent and the diaspora and as a whole. So, that's the first thing. We should definitely be working on seeing what it is that we can do as a people. And then we'll be able to, as Tyranny said, have relationships with some of these other groups.
Yeah.
And just real quickly, I mean, to back up Tyranny's point, I mean, what we need is to support the grassroots organizers, radicals, and revolutionaries who are to put it in a weird way, up and coming, right? Because the older revolutionary movements have been suppressed and destroyed. Because Russia's interest is and China, they'll deal with whoever's in power, right? They're not trying to change. They're just trying to get in there for their own benefit. We recognize that. I think the thing that some of these folks are going for is that we need to play one off the other. But what we need to do, that third wheel is we need to make sure that there is a burgeoning grassroots radical movement that we are supporting that is working to make sure that whatever dealings we have in the outside world, right, that Africans leaders are having outside world, that leaders here are having on the outside world, that not only is done from a principled point of view, but an ideological point of view, that we're not kleptomaniacs. We're not here to steal resources from our people and to put them in our pockets. We're not here to take resources and give them to our family members. We're here to make sure that whatever resources we have, and we need to support leaders who also agree with whatever resources are distributed to the masses of people so that their lives can be improved and better, as opposed to buying shiny new things in huge houses, both in Africa and in Europe, for their own benefits.
Yeah, and I definitely, I focus on the primary contradiction first, and that is imperialism and ending imperialism, dismantling US, EU, NATO hegemony, so that we can do those things, because we cannot do those things with imperialism operating the way it is. And I know we got a couple of minutes for the guests, but I want to make sure we're clear that Joe Biden is not going to help us do what you just said, Kalanji, with supporting grassroots anti-imperialist radical Africans from the get. No, because he nominated this Black woman with a Black sounding name with the locks, Ketanji Jackson Brown, to be the first Black woman on the Supreme Court. Yay, Black girl magic. But
Clarence Thomas number 2.
Who does she have support from? Which ought to be the thing that gives everyone pause in
Fraternal Order of Police
arguments.
Yes,
the Fraternal Order of Police.
Right, and that's the only way she was going to be there.
Support her nomination to the Supreme Court.
But who couldn't see that coming though? I mean, on the real, Jackie, we know that living in a police state, living under the particular regime we're under right now. I mean, did we expect someone to not be positioned and backed by the FOP? We didn't. I mean, you didn't need Miss Cleo or Dionne Warwick daughter to say, "Hey, you know what I'm saying? You know what's going to happen next." We knew that, and we could have predicted it was going to be a black woman, because that's what Biden does. Biden is a pimp. He's a straight up pimp, and he's using black women as tools. He's using black women as tools of war, because he knows that all we are concerned about is being the first black this, the first black that. It is fashionable right now to be a black woman, as far as white America is concerned. It is fashionable to be a black woman. It is fashionable to be black. You know what I'm saying?
Like the Secretary of State. I mean, not the Secretary. The Secretary of Defense. That's right. Black man.
Hey,
first ever. First ever.
But what has changed? What has changed materially? What has changed physically, psychologically? Nothing. It's getting worse. So now, as a good comrade Deruba would say, the slaves are running the plantation, and we're happy to get our ass whooped by somebody that look like us. Perhaps they might get some type of epiphany, and they might not strike us as hard when Master's not looking. But lo and behold, she gonna go for broke, and she's gonna prove. She gonna prove. You think Clarence Thomas was somebody? She about to wreck shop. She gonna be the boss.
I'm only gonna say she's not gonna be Clarence Thomas, but she
might not be Clarence Thomas. Ain't no telling what she might.
I just want to make a little bit of
get it twisted.
And I'm actually glad I'm glad the two attorneys are here, because I do have questions about this case that she adjudicated, where she denied plaintiffs in a class action lawsuit against Lockheed Martin the ability to pursue discovery, and they ended up it was black folks for a class action lawsuit, racial. But we're gonna have to get to that on the other side of this interview. But
Amen.
I mean, there are questions. Aside from the FOP, endorsement, that ought to be enough. But Kalandi, some of us are excited about that name and them locks, But I had them before she, she make locks look bad. But
it sounds good in theory, like, oh wow, you know what I'm saying? But I got my ass whooped by a cop named a black cop named Muhammad one time. So you know what I'm saying? So that shit don't matter. Well, I actually didn't get my ass whooped, but anyway. For the record. But anyway, we do have a guest, and before we go to our guest, we got I think the ear doctor gonna come through here and say some things, or two or three. And
yeah. What's good, everybody? Hey, before Tierney, you about to leave?
Yes.
All right, let us know what's going on your show before you do, please.
Tomorrow I'll be talking more about this Ukraine-Russia crisis and the need for African neutrality. So that will be tomorrow morning on We Charge Colonialism TV.
Right, nice.
Right on.
All right, well, it's time to get some edutainment real quick. So let's get to it right here on the Remix Show, y'all.
Let's go. Remix in the building.
Did I see Uncle Luke do a contribution? Big up Uncle Luke. Scott. You know what I'm saying? Big up. Check this out.
Get down. Get down. Get down.
So I wanted to talk about nation building. The definition of nation building. First, we have former Ethiopian president right here. Says, thanks to heroic sons and daughters of this country who have paid sacrifices, we have been able to score a number of victories which are encouraging the nation building process we engage in. With that said, I wanted to give you the definition of nation building and why it is so important in what we are doing right here on Black Power Media. Nation building is constructing or structuring a national identity using the power of the state. Nation building aims at the unification of people within the state so that it remains politically stable and viable in the long run. Nation builders are those members of the state who take the initiative to develop the national community through governmental programs, military thought, and content for mass schooling. Nation building can also involve the use of propaganda or major development to foster social harmony and economic growth. Now, they say these three things are necessary for nation building: the early development of civil society organizations, the rise of a state capable of providing public goods evenly across the territory, and the emergence of a shared medium of communication. That's nation building, y'all. I believe that's what we're doing right here at Black Power Media. So please continue to do that with us, all right? Now let's take it back to the Remix Morning Show, y'all. Let's go.
Get down.
Yeah.
About to flip it to our guests.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna we appreciate what you brought to the table, brother Ed Doctor.
No doubt. It was funny how y'all talking about Ethiopia, talking about nation building, talking about nations, and look what I had prepared for y'all. Let's go. Black Power Media.
Who knew? Look at the Ed Doctor, Saint Ed Doctor. Anyway, we do have a dope guest. There's a film coming out dealing with the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. So I have invited our good brother Gerard on to talk about his new film. He is the director and producer of the film dealing with Garvey. So we will be back in a couple seconds with our good brother Gerard on Black Power Media Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Peace, brother Gerard. What's going on with you, man?
Good morning. I can't hear any audio.
You can't hear me?
Am I doing this right?
Okay. Can you hear me now? 1 2 1 2.
Let me see if I got my settings wrong. Let me see.
Okay.
I see you guys, but I don't hear anything.
You see us but don't hear anything. Well, that's not good. Perhaps we can let me see here. How are you looking now? Still not hearing anything? Perhaps we're gonna have you log out and log back in if that's all right.
I'm sorry about that. I can't hear anything.
Okay. We're gonna work on getting the brothers technical difficulties in order. This is our brother Gerard. He's like I said, he's with the he has a film coming out dealing with the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I don't know what's going on with his tech side, but we will try to get him in order for in a few ticks. You're checking out the Remix Morning Show. Let's see how we looking right about now.
Yes, sir. I'm just using the audio from the phone. I had some earpieces in. It wasn't working right.
Cool in the gang, man. Count on you. How's everything going, brother?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a beautiful day. Okay. It's a beautiful day.
Right on. For our viewers, please introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Gerard. I'm a filmmaker from Dallas, or I live in Dallas. Been in the industry for close to 2 decades, doing a lot of work with musicians, a lot of music videos, transitioned into doing film. So I've done a few short films and worked on a couple of features, but this project will be my debut as a director for, a narrative director.
Okay, so what tell us about the film. What is the tell us the title of the film and what inspired you to come with it.
Absolutely. The movie is Mosiah. It is we call it intimate portrait of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And my wife and I have a company called DigiBees. Pocky Brown is my wife, and a good friend of ours named Alima Albury, who is a producer, received a script from someone that wanted to work, have her produce the script for them, and she sent it to us and asked us if we'd be interested in shooting it. My wife read it first and was like, "I think you need to take a look at this script," and I was like, "Okay," and I took it, opened it up, look at it, saw Mosiah. I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And once I read it, I was sold, and I told Alima that I think I want to direct this film. So that's where it comes. That's where the epithets come. That's where it comes from. Good brother Sam Lee Fudge, the brother that stars as Marcus Garvey, actually wrote the script.
Wow. So how did you all? I mean, what made you just say, okay, beside the script itself, was it anything about Garvey himself that really just drew you to feeling obligated, or was it just? Tell us about that.
Absolutely. So I was already working on a documentary that's about Black representation in media. There's a couple of parts to it. One of the parts is specifically about blackface. So I'd already done some research pertaining to that, and I specifically was looking at coon songs, and so came across the song "Every Nation Has a Flag But the Coon," and that led to doing research about the creation of the UNI flag, the RBG flag, Pan African flag, and so I was already set. I was already doing research, and that plus hearing about other projects that are in the works about Garvey, and so I was already primed, I would say. So when I saw the script, I knew absolutely that we would want to do it, especially given the other project that's in the works. There's a project with Winston Duke that's that's been announced. He's going to star, and from all indications on their descriptions of the project, it seems like it's not really going to focus on Garvey. It'll be more of a focus on the FBI agent, the first Black FBI agent, Jack. So it definitely offered opportunities. We can be the first to actually put a movie out that actually represents Garvey, puts the spotlight on Garvey, and centers him in the story. And that was just too much to to not, it was too intriguing to not do, especially given his impact. And the more I dig, the more I realized how much I didn't know. I was, kind of ashamed that, and not surprised at all, really, at our educational system, at how much about Garvey I did not know. So the more I dug, the more I knew we just had to do this, and had to put our spin on it, or had to control it the way that we would tell the narrative, and make sure that it has an honorable ring to it, that it gives an image that, I'm already working on a doc about Black representation and how that affects everyone, but specifically Black people. So it's already a driving force to make sure that we are represented in a way that uplifts us. So it's right in line with Garvey thinking.
Right on. Forgive me, I got to keep hitting this mic so we won't get this echo. I don't know what's going on, but you mentioned, for folks that don't know, you mentioned every nation has a flag, but the coon. For the viewers who are not familiar, that was an actual song that was written in 1896 by Will Heelan and J. Fred Health. There were a couple crackers that came up with this little ditty, and Marcus Garvey actually responded with another song. I don't have the song title in my head right now, but forgive me, we can look it up. But you mentioned, I think you said some man named Duke. He's playing an actual FBI agent that they focused on in. That's not your film. This is a whole nother film, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I wanted clarity because I didn't want nobody to say he's doing a film centered around the FBI agent. We wouldn't have your ass on here talking about that. You know what I'm saying? We do not support that type of action around here.
No.
But so what are you looking at as far as the length of the film, and give us like if you can give us a synopsis, because of the fact that we haven't seen the trailer or the script. What will we be looking forward to, and like I said, the length. And when are you looking to push it out?
Absolutely. So right now we're looking at about 25 to 30 minutes. It is a short, and we have a trailer that's available. Our website link is mosiahthemovie.com, and that links to a trailer. And we're doing a GoFundMe campaign to try to raise funds because we shot quite a bit of the film, but there are a couple of scenes we didn't shoot, and then once we got back from production, we realized there are a couple of scenes that we want to reshoot because we just want to make sure we get this right. So we've been hustling, saving up money, and everybody that we talked to about the project, wanted to see what we're working on, especially people that know our work, but just really, really interested in seeing it, and then B, everyone that knows about it has been asking us how can they help. What can they do to get this going? So that'd be a good idea to put together a trailer so that people can actually get a visual of what we're working on, and see the tone, and see, get some sense of where we're going with the direction, and then, have a campaign to help raise some funds, maybe to accelerate the process of getting the money to finish the film.
No doubt. Now, I got to say, I wouldn't be me without playing Cracker's Advocate. Right. So you said you telling me that you've been in the industry and you saw this script, so on and so forth. Consultants, what did you have any consultants with it, or what's, because we want to make sure that this film is on the right side of history. We don't want it to be another film where it's whitewashed and Garvey is someone that he wasn't and all that type of stuff. So, I mean, what was the process with that? Did you seek any consultation from other folks, or was it just, we got this script and we're gonna run with it?
So from receiving the script, I have a close friend that has a school that's centered on African-centered learning. His name is Baba Amin, and
shout out to Baba Amin. He's a good comrade.
What'd you say?
No, I said shout out to Baba Amin. He's a good comrade.
Yeah, shout out to Baba Amin. Absolutely, putting in that work. Uhuru Academy. Yes. So definitely, he was the first person. It's a brother I've known for years, and I wanted to make sure. I just asked him a couple of things. I said, as a brother that has his feet on the ground every day teaching this, and inspiring young minds, what would you want to see in a film about Marcus Mosiah Garvey? And then I talked to him about our approach and what was in the script, and asked him about his thoughts on that. And that was the original, that was my initial consultation. That's who gave me the first advice I received about our approach. So we went from there and, did our research and went with the script from there. Since completing the first part of the filming, I've connected with brother Moram Kamal from the official historian for the UNIA. So we've been in constant contact and have plenty lengthy conversations. That brother's on fire about Garvey, and
he don't play about Garvey. Yeah,
I spend most of the time just listening. I say what I got to say here or there, or ask what I have to ask, but I just soak it all in. And he's been very instrumental in connecting me with multiple people throughout this interconnected interconnected bevy of people that still push forward Garvey's teachings. And Garvey, so different people from the UNIA, the Institute for Marcus Garvey, a lot of different organizations. So he's been very instrumental in that, and that's been a godsend for sure.
Right on. We've had Brother Morimai on as well. So definitely shout out to him. I actually heard about your project through Baba Amin. So, you know, and then later on through another comrade, our brother Cimarron, who works with Morimai. But I'm definitely, you know, and I asked you those questions because of the fact that it's very important that when we're doing anything in regards to our people, that we get proper consultation and we get proper information, because as Imam Jamil Al-Amin, formerly H. Rap Brown, would say, is to be black is necessary, but it's not sufficient. You know, we a lot of times we feel that because we're black, we can just do anything. Well, I'm black, so I'm the leading spokesperson because I'm the blackest person in the room. So, you know, I'm definitely glad you pushed that. Do you have a website where folks can go check it out? Check out the trailer you're saying,
Absolutely.
and support the project, because I know you are raising resources as well.
Absolutely. The site mosiahthemovie.com, so that's MosiahThemovie.com. That will take you directly to our GoFundMe page, which also has the trailer. So it's a one-stop shop. You can see the trailer, and if you feel compelled to give, you can give right there as well.
Right on. Well, definitely, brother. Anything you want to add on to what it is you're talking about, like possibly dates of release? What's the goal, the game plan as far as release dates?
Yeah, so we're really not focused as much on an actual release date, because we just want to get it, make sure we have it done the best way that we can. But we are looking, we're not talking about like 2-3 years down the line. We are looking to have this done this year, to complete it and have it ready to see sometime late this year. So that is the plan. And we definitely want to, the reason we're just trying to keep it where we can keep creative control and tell the story the way we feel like it should be told. So that's the reason why we're self-funding and, you know, asking for contributions in this way. We just want to make sure that we can, you know, absolutely keep the powers that be in this industry from trying to whitewash it. You know what I mean? So we definitely want to keep control of that narrative for sure.
Hey, brother, listen, man, I salute you because here it is, you know, when you're, you know, the fact that you are willing to cross over from industry to work on pushing things that are more important, things that deal with our culture, things that deal with our history. You know, I salute you, and I'm hoping that this isn't, you know, this may be the first, but I'm hoping it's not the last of these type of endeavors, because we need more propaganda, we need more information, we need more edutainment to help to guide us in this fight. Che Guevara said the role of the propagandist is just as important as the role of the guerrilla, and I believe that. So definitely salute to you. Right on, bro.
I appreciate that. My wife and I made a concerted effort, decided that we were going to make a concerted effort to be more legacy minded, to put work out in the atmosphere, use our talents to put work out in the atmosphere that contributes to our people. And that's what we're doing. That's why I was working on a documentary. One of the producers on that documentary, Alima, is who got the script for Mosiah. So this all falls in line with what we're trying to do. We're trying to put something out there. You know, as an artist, you definitely want to be able to say, here, this is who I am. You know, but I also want it to be something that can feed, something that, you know, we can help push our, I don't want to say agenda, but I mean, agenda, you know, to strengthen our legacy and make sure that we say these names that don't get said often enough, and be able to show these perspectives that don't get seen enough.
Right on, right on. Hey, well, brother, stay on point, stay on the right side of the barricades. We'll be in touch, and we're looking forward to assisting you in reaching your goals. And you know, best of I don't want to say best of luck, but best intention and best results for what it is you bring it to the table. Right on.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
No doubt, no doubt. You've been checking out my man Gerard, who is the producer and director of Mosiah the movie. Make sure you all support that. We are live and direct Remix Morning Show. We coming right back at you, Black Power Media. It's like that. Peace, peace. What's happening, y'all?
That was dope. That was very exciting.
Yes.
I'm
glad
looking
to get
forward to that.
Yes. We need as much like I said, propaganda and information out as possible to combat what it is we're up against. And I don't think folks really recognize and understand that part of it as much as they should. But speaking of propaganda, we got the main man, the ear doctor in the building, and he gonna give us some tunes to rock with.
Yeah, real quick. So tomorrow I am going to do a top 5. But today I'm going to talk about the different people in the category. Real quick, just giving their shots out. And yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Is he re-explaining his top 5? So that
I think he is. We're watching him. We're watching him. Yeah, trying to set us up.
What's good, everybody? What's good? Welcome out to the RemiX Morning Show. I am the Ear Doctor, and let you know, please make sure to like, subscribe, and all that. Notification bell. Boom, bam, bam, bam. There you go. All right, so check this out. Tomorrow, make sure y'all tune in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run down my top 5. Y'all ready for this? Top 5 rap duo. That's right. 2 MCs in a group that rhyme. Rap duo. I want to give props out to some of the ones that's I'm going to put up there. So big up. We're going to first start off with 8 Ball MJG. Mobb Deep. Dog Pound. Run DMC. EPMD. Outkast. UGK. Smith & Wesson. Houdini. Das Effects. MOP, the Beat Nuts, Salt and Pepper, Finesse and Sinquist, Big Timers, Kid and Play, Clips, Crisscross, Illegal, Red and Mess, Capone and Noriega, Dead Prez, Pete Rock and CL Smooth, Black Star, and Cypress Hill. It's a big list, y'all. If y'all can think any other ones, let me know, but I think that's about all of them right there. And we're talking about 2 MCs rhyming in the group, not including the DJ. So think about it, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow. Let's get back to the RemiX Morning Show, y'all.
I mean,
Outkast
pretty much made it difficult to criticize you terribly.
Hey, I mean, listen, tomorrow I will let y'all know my top 5.
Outkast.
I thank you, because I was listening and kind of sort of working on my monologue, but I'm like, did he finish that list without Outkast on it?
Oh, come on, you know I got Outkast.
I'm just saying that they're the number 1 duo.
Oh, okay. I was like,
yeah, that's all I'm saying. I'm not
number
saying
1 for you, huh? Okay.
No. They are number 1, not just for me.
All right, I'm sorry. I have
they're
to be
number 1,
more
period.
present. I have to be more present during these. I apologize.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dead Prez. I don't believe y'all fronting on them. Shout out to DP.
People said
ain't nobody front. We named Dead Prez.
Okay, all right. I went to the bathroom. I had to make sure.
Here you go. Riot started.
Listen, but let me throw in my 2 cents. I ain't gonna it's not gonna stop me, but
hey, you know how we do around here.
I would have done the same thing.
That's what I did. I channeled my inner Kamal. I was like, what would Kamal do? WWKD.
Oh, WKD.
Yo, so stay tuned for tomorrow's show, and I'm gonna come with my top 5. Until then, I'll catch y'all later.
No doubt. Yes,
WWKD can be used interchangeably for the rest of us. For those of us who want to be more astute and focused with our responses. It can be what would Kamau do, but in those moments when we need to be straight guerrilla, straight gangster, straight I'm gonna kick your ass because you on the wrong side of the barricade. It could be what would Kamau do? What would Kalanji do? It could be that. It's an interchangeable acronym, and I like it.
Well, I don't know if I like being the
Jesus like.
Yeah, but I don't know if I like being the bully. You know what I'm saying? Like,
who said any of that was bullying? That's necessary.
You make Kamal look like the brains and whatnot. Like, we never want to be politically astute. And when you want somebody to kick their ass, yeah.
I mean, we need this.
Thank you for the compliment. I think. But anyway,
give me a long flowing robe.
It's the yin and yang of revolution.
Yeah, we get you and a wig, maybe a wig and a robe.
I don't want to be the white Jesus.
We get you a dread wig.
I do that. I do the dreadlock.
Erica, please save us.
Speaking of Jesus.
Wow.
You're not.
What would Erica do?
Which one of
Erica? Yang of revolution kind of situation, and they're not. Kalonji ain't feeling it, and I don't.
Hey man.
Well, I suspect. I don't know Erica that well. I'm suspect you're a Jesus follower. Which one?
I am a Jesus follower. I am a Jesus follower.
Okay. Which one of us look more like Jesus?
More Jesus-like, you think?
What? I'm gonna say neither one of y'all.
Hold on.
None of the above.
Hair of wool.
Hair of lambs.
I'm talking about from your heart, not from your
This
hair.
is my heart. Yes, my sister.
So
I'll turn over the
you flip the tables.
The market. I'll flip the table.
I turn the water into wine.
See?
I'm sure.
You see?
Maybe I take back my nomination. Kalanji is the Jesus I want.
That's right. I changed the water to Hennessy. Anyway, Uncle Nearest. But anyway, don't trip on us. Good morning. Welcome to the Remix Morning Show.
Good morning.
Well, you can hang with all the cats that probably won't be going the way you going.
Wow.
It's gonna be like it's getting hot in here. But anyway, welcome to the Remix Morning Show.
Like if the time comes, I'm just gonna be like, come on, you ain't got jokes, Jesus? What's going on? Jesus got to have jokes. I mean, look at the world he created, right? Well, they created, or she created.
Erica's like, come on.
I'm just saying, you got to have jokes. You create something like this.
No, he had jokes. Remember when he was hanging out with that woman at the well, and he said, where's your husband? And she said, well, I don't have a husband. And he's like, you doggone right, you don't have a husband. I know that. Bam. Come on.
Is that a biblical quote? What is that?
I don't remember that one.
Ghettoese 16.4. I don't understand. I don't remember that one.
We're gonna do Bible study with y'all later.
But he was hanging out. I mean, for those who know, I don't like to get back to more news, but he was hanging out with Mary Magdalene, right? What's her name?
That's Magdalene. You sound like
I got the ear doctor now.
You are the ear doctor right now.
Who, despite what people like to say, was not actually a prostitute. Ain't nothing in that book that says that woman was a prostitute. That was just no.
I like when Mags, he was hanging out with regular folks.
Gossip on the Bible. Let's get the biblical gossip on it.
And he's a victim of police terrorism, according to that.
True, state violence.
Yep. Executed by the state.
That's right.
Yes, he was.
Pontius Pilate and the crew back then, all the criminals. Pontius Pilate was the Trump of those days. You know what I'm saying? The Roman soldiers was the police.
That's right. Set up by the religious establishment, which was the political establishment at that time.
That's right, boy. Y'all about to have checked up in here. Anyway, shout out to Minister Server. You know what I'm saying? Who will be helping you conduct on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
No, Bible study is always on Wednesday, Minister Server.
Always.
It's on Wednesday. Yeah.
Always.
Server don't know nothing about no Bible.
He just went to,
heathens going straight
went
to
to Bible
hell, not
school.
knowing what day Bible study is on.
Exactly.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's
Amen.
why. You
But that's
show
why
up
they-
for the church, you show up for Bible study on the wrong day and then wonder why you end up in hell.
I can
Lord
throw
have
minister in
mercy.
front of my name. You know what I'm saying?
Anyway, don't mind us.
Sorry, yeah.
To all
I
you
got
good
carried
people
away.
out there.
We got carried
We got
away.
kind of crazy out here. But anyway, you are checking out the Remix Morning Show, Black Power Media. We are joined by Erica Brown of Broke-ish. You know what
Don't
I'm
worry,
saying?
tomorrow we'll talk about Islam. So don't just get ready for it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh, boy,
Yeah, we
love
have a new episode coming out today.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, good.
We do. We have a new episode coming out with Jared Ball, Dr. Jared Ball.
Oh,
He's
man.
talking about Kalanji's favorite topic, cryptocurrency.
Oh, yes. Thanks. Just what I wanted in life.
So y'all roll through and check it out and see what he had to tell us about cryptocurrency if you haven't heard it already.
I mean, we want to watch the show, but do we really want to watch Jared Paul, brothers and sisters on the screen? I'm not talking about the other folks. I'm talking about the other co-hosts here. You guys?
Yeah,
Okay.
well-
We're going to watch it. We're going to watch it.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm just saying, like, you know, when the mic is off, he's still talking about crypto. So I've heard all the crypto. But I will, I mean, I know it's going to be done in a platform and in a way which is going to be informative, not like the rantings we get off mic.
Man,
But it's crypto is interesting, and especially if you consider now the things that are happening with crypto, with Russia and Ukraine, and Russia being cut off from SWIFT, and then people are running to crypto. So I mean, there are a lot of real world implications. He's just not, beating a dead horse.
Okay.
No.
Shout out
I'm
to
gonna take up for my friend. Y'all
Never
talk
that,
about Jared.
Jared.
Oh, okay. Now
I abstain.
Okay,
You
thank you.
abstain from taking up?
I will watch, but I abstain from this particular floor vote.
Petty J. Petty J, as we like to call him. Never beating a dead horse.
He's definitely petty. Shout out to Petty J. You know what I'm
Shout out Petty
saying?
J at school
Petty
right now.
Murphy. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely in the building. Petty Griffin. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely in the building. We know what he do. You know what I mean?
Who got a news story? We need a news story to get back.
We definitely need a news story.
Okay, so here's the news story. This is what I wanted to ask you, Kamau, about this Ketanji James woman. There's a big kerfluffle about her ruling in a case against Black workers for Lockheed Martin. She ruled against their class action lawsuit. And this is an opinion from the Washington Post. Excuse me. And my highlights disappeared, of course. We just, established she's been announced to be Biden's nominee for the first Black woman to be on the Supreme Court. But they are here. So the judge in the case, who was one of the judges in that case, apparently sent Joe Biden a letter complaining about his nomination of Ketanji Brown. And he, this former judge said, the judge's name is U.W. Clemon. He's from Alabama. He said that Jackson should not be selected because she has not done enough, quote, for the cause of justice and equality. And he pointed to her decision to disapprove of the settlement in the Lockheed Martin case is a bell sounding the alarm that if Judge Jackson is appointed to the Supreme Court, simple justice and equality in the workplace will be sacrificed. Clemon challenged several of her procedural decisions in that case, but took most direct aim at her objection in the settlement. Now, apparently, Jackson found that the class of people did not satisfy what is called the commonality agreement. Basically, that all of the people in that class action couldn't prove that they had enough in common to, satisfy the court that they had a reason to collectively sue Lockheed Martin. And the Supreme Court decision that precedent is based on was controversial in itself. That case is Walmart versus Dukes, where like 1.5 million women who were part of a class action lawsuit against Walmart for gender discrimination, sexual harassment, and such in the workplace, that case was dismissed because the Supreme Court said that all those 1.5 million people couldn't prove that they all suffered similar enough discrimination by Walmart. So, Kamal, are
Jackie,
you familiar with
before
this?
you ask, I'm sorry, one question, just
No.
if you happen to know. So are they saying the commonality is related to the harm, or the commonality is related to you are Black or you are a woman?
That is the question, Erica, because I'm not sure.
It's both, and the commonality is related to, again, a few decades ago now, the Supreme Court has moved to a model of you can't just claim discrimination, and the courts in general, right? You can't just claim discrimination and give statistical evidence or other things of that nature to show how widespread the discrimination is. A lot of these cases are now being decided in a very narrow way, where you have to show that this particular person or a particular entity did A, B, C. And not that they just did it, but they did it with a discriminatory intent. So if they fired 9 Black women and they say, well, no, we just happened to fire 9 Black women, you have to prove that the firing was done on the basis of them being Black women. So it's almost like you need that smoking gun. You need that evidence that suggests that this is the Supreme Court of Court's interpretation to limit the liability of corporations. So you have to have someone who's sitting there going, I don't like Black women, and that's why I'm firing them. And so short of something almost that egregious, a lot of these cases, individual cases and now class actions, get thrown out. And so I'm assuming, not having read the case or knowing a lot about the history, that they're saying that there's such a variance amount of people who are not, quote unquote, discriminated within by the same either person or the same action, that they're using that as a basis. And you're right, that is a controversial decision that not only the Supreme Court made, but other jurisdictions have now taken up. There are some obviously rogue jurisdictions that try to be a little bit more liberal, and I think that's where the judge the judge, but then the attorney is probably coming in and weighing in on that. There was a settlement already ready, so this wasn't a case that seemed to need to have a court decision, but a settlement was agreed to by the plaintiff and the defendants in this case, and all the judge really had to do was approve. So both sides were ready to say this case is over, and basically we need you to sign off. And so she took it upon herself to say, wait a minute, I'm not going to sign off on this settlement. I see what I would consider to be a constitutional violation or something that it takes away standing. And so therefore, I'm going to throw out this settlement. And so I think for them, that's where the outrage comes in, was like, we've already bargained and had this agreed upon. And then from the point of view of the attorneys, and then the larger societal issue is, we have something that's going to help these Black workers who have been discriminated against. The corporation, which may not agree and or admit to the discrimination, sees enough factual information here that they don't want to take this to trial, and they are willing to settle. All parties will be satisfied by this outcome. And she took it amongst herself to say that I'm not going to allow that to happen.
So is this the same Lockheed Martin that the
defense
helped
contract
fuel this war machine? You know what I'm saying? That same. I don't know. I mean, this is a weird story. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, to me, it's probably worse than saying these Black agents at the FBI are being discriminated against. So we should be trying to there should be some concern. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Lockheed Martin is, when we talk about imperialism, I mean, they're like, they're the machine. You know what I mean? So sorry, not sorry, as they say. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, my only different tact is that I mean, they're a huge corporation. We're probably talking about probably not talking about people who are actually making bombs or whatever, but I have no idea. but they employ millions of people. And so, these are folks who are, whether rightly or wrongly, are probably working there, not necessarily thinking about the political elements of it, but thinking about paychecks that they can take home to their family, which does not excuse Lockheed Martin in terms of what they do. But on the workers level, they're looking for jobs and employment. And unfortunately, what the economy provides is, you got all these state contracts to make bombs. You don't get these same contracts to build schools and hospitals and clinics and other things that are needed in the community. But the state will dish out literally billions of dollars for a company in these company contracts. And a lot of these places like Lockheed Martin, they are sustained through state contracts with the federal government, basically, to, like you said, to build weapons, to build bombs, to build armaments. And so that's how that system keeps going. So, yeah.
Right.
Historically, sorry, Kalandri, I was just going to say, historically, a lot of these organizations like Lockheed Martin also were places where Black people could go, likely get a union job, be able to move into the middle class and to be able to support their families, like I think Kamal is alluding to. So I know that we want to fight imperialism and these sorts of companies, but at the same time, folks trying to eat.
Nah, I mean, I hear that, but I guess if we use that logic, that'll be the same logic we use for the military and the police department. The state is the state. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because of the fact that we'll say, well, look, I'm not really trying to bomb nobody. I joined the military because of the fact that I want to get the GI Bill. I want to get so on and so forth. But you're going to do what the state has you do. You know what I mean? So we have to keep in mind that if you are in Minnesota making bullets, and one of these bullets help to gun down my family, I don't want to hear where I was just doing my job. I mean, that's the same logic that the state uses all the time. So that's just my only pushback on it. Plus, I used to live down the street from Lockheed Martin in Marietta, Georgia. They have a big base and everything over there. So yes, I get all that, but yeah, I mean, to me, there's no neutrals in war. You have to, when they're, if you're in the military, they're not going to say, well, we're not going to attack you because you just a cook or you just clean the windows that's going to go fly and bomb. The windows of the plane that's going to go bomb someone somewhere else. So I get what you guys are saying, but we got to go beyond it. It's just a job. That's not, they don't cut it.
Well, I think we also, though, have to go, we also have to take it to the point of we're not providing alternatives. People are going to do what they're going to do. Right.
Oh,
so
yeah. No
I
doubt.
don't want to blame the masses.
I unite with that.
Yeah. I just would have put out, more information on it. Like, I feel torn too about stuff like that. Obviously, when people tell me I need to, I'd never, that whole stuff about the soldier saluting the soldier and all that kind of stuff, that fits into your propaganda scheme. And you can't blame the soldier. It's like, that's the soldier committing the actual atrocities alive in war. So I get it's difficult. I get it's difficult for people's families and then all that kind of stuff, but in this particular case, I also, again, when people feel like the alternatives, well, there aren't the alternatives, right? Because all of it is capitalism. And until we build out the alternatives, people are going to make decisions who are not politicized, who are looking at it from the point of view of just economic survival, of taking whatever job comes along that helps them feed them and their family. So I think there's always going to be a rub there until the alternatives are built, and we have to build them.
Right. And I think that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Erica.
No, Jackie, go ahead.
No, and I think that, for people who recognize what defense contractors are because we see them from the outside, I don't think we understand how they actually work on the inside. I worked for a defense contractor for a long time. I was a proposal writer and a technical writer. So when you enter into these positions that are not, there's nothing in the job description that says you are working to support the infrastructure that builds drones that are dropped on other. That's it. That's not the job description for a technical writer is all about your experience as a writer, your what you've done and how you can follow if you've worked with requirements and all of this kind of stuff. That they don't ever mention the end result of all of this disparate work, whether it's a technical writer, a project manager, a program assistant, a scheduling assistant. They're not sitting in the boardrooms of these proposals that I've worked on, literally talking, nobody's going to sit there and say, we have to win this proposal so that we can win this contract to make more bombs. Nobody is in there saying that. Maybe in the CEO's office. Right. Yes, but the people who are doing this, individual little bit of work, they're very well indoctrinated against really making the connection between the work that they are doing, making the requirements for a part of a system of some piece of technology that they don't even, they're not told this is a guidance system that is going into a bomb that is going to be, that's not how it's done.
Right. But it doesn't say that in the Constitution either. They're not America.
No, I'm not saying that as an opposition.
No, I dig what you're saying. And I'm not against anything you all are saying. I'm just pointing out an alternative because of the fact that we got to recognize too that with the patriots here in the United States, they feel that they're fighting for democracy. They feel like when they're going over to deal with these different countries and so on and so forth, because of the fact that they're trying to introduce, these people are being oppressed. So nowhere is you're going to read in the manual of the United States, the founding fathers saying that we are this racist operation and we are going to dominate and imperialism is the way of the world and so on and so forth. So with that, that's where our job comes in. That's the job of the organizer. That's the job of us providing political education. That's what the job of us providing on alternative propaganda. So I'm not saying, I understand that people got to eat, but on the flip side, there are people that are being bombed whose families can no longer eat as well because of the fact that you got to feed your family. So the thing is, there has to come a time that you have to do due diligence and you have to research and find out, well, who the hell am I working for? What particular operation? Why is this company so big? How did it get so big? Why do we have all these benefits? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that, no, I have an alternative for you, but I'm also saying let's not get caught up in again weeping for white folks. Let's not get caught up in, okay, well, I didn't know. Like they said, like they tell you when they pull your ass over. Well, I didn't know that the speed limit was 55. Well, ignorance is no excuse. This big ass ticket we got right here for you. This is what this say. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not attacking you all, nor am I attacking the people, but we have to be clear because imperialism and capitalism, it lies all the time, not sometimes.
And just because I got to run and do, and I'm one of those people who was fortunate because I was sitting in the Securities and Exchange Commission on a civilian contract that I made sure didn't contribute to at least a war, but I was still working for the as a contractor for the government, right? I was still working on a contract for this capitalist system, sitting there wondering, how am I going to get another job that doesn't support this system at all? And then Eugene Puryear offered me the gig to take to fill the spot at By Any Means Necessary. So I'm giving you the insight that I have from someone who did that work. I'm not making excuses for people not knowing, but let's be clear. Y'all don't read the terms of agreement for Twitter, Instagram, and the apps that you download on your phone. And then you wonder why these tech companies are selling your data. So you can't be over here in the chat, some of y'all, talking about people need to do their due diligence. You don't read the fine print on half the stuff you sign. So we need to be really, really careful about, if we want to educate people as organizers, we absolutely do. This is our job. We have got to understand where people are in order to meet them where they are. Because otherwise, you're going to end up on a whole nother street from somebody else and then wonder why ain't nobody listening to you. So that's all I got to say. I got to go, y'all. Peace.
Tell Sean I said what's up until I come over and
you don't want to start no mess with Sean. I ain't getting in the middle of that.
Okay.
No.
Man.
Sean commented on my joint too and said I had a sharp lineup on this Twitter video I put up yesterday. So Sean don't start nothing, there won't be nothing. Nah, I mean, that's how we do.
Y'all.
Anyway.
See you, Eric.
Bye, Jackie.
Checking out the Remix Morning Show on Black Power Media, where we can agree and agree to disagree as long as we get free. You know what I'm saying?
True
So
that.
Yes,
True.
freedom is the goal. One question
Yeah.
about Ketanji, though, that and maybe this is for you, Kamal or Kalanji, you know, if you want to talk about it too, is there were some people that were praising her because apparently she is going to be the first, if she is confirmed, she would be the first person to sit on the court who has experience as a public defender. So that apparently was a big deal, and people were like, yay, she was a public defender. Do you have thoughts about her experience in that area and how that might weigh in on her and the job?
I think she's going to be a moderate to liberal elitist judge, which means she's going to work within the parameters of decisions that are already made. She's not any sort of radical or revolutionary force. But I think it's also interesting that at the same time people are praising that, she's got endorsements from Paul Ryan. She's got endorsements, as Jackie brought up earlier, from the Fraternal Order of Police. There's other conservative bodies and Republicans which are saying she's within the realm of people that we would want to support. So what you have usually on the liberal side of things, so-called liberal Democrat side, is that they will pick people that they think that the right wing will support, whereas opposed to the right wing, they don't give a fuck.
Right.
They're putting their people that they think will put in the policies or adjudicate in a way that they wanted adjudicated. Hence, what's happening now with the possible turning over Roe v. Wade, again with the possible complete ending of the affirmative action. So all of that stuff is what the right wing do, and what the moderates do is do somebody who's going to be appealing to both sides, which is why we have a political system that is moderate to conservative, because this is what those folks truly believe. And she's already proven herself to be within that elite camp, no offense to her, by the husband she chose, by the way in which she's decided her cases, by her totally fitting in. She's not somebody who is going to be breaking down barriers in terms of being the Supreme Court judge. She will compromise and try to keep some things in place, but she's not doing anything different from that.
Yeah, I think that again, unfortunately, I would much rather have an old, crusty cracker in that position, so that we would be totally clear about where we are in this country. I think that we get caught up in the sidetracking of the slave, and we get caught up in the first black Martian and the first black this, and the symbolism that is used against us. Again, the tools of war, the tools of oppression that are used against us because of the fact that we feel like because a black face is in a high place that has gotten us further along. And that's one of the tricks of the trade. And Biden has mastered that shit in a beautiful way. I mean, this dude's gonna have more black folks in cabinet than his cabinet than Obama did. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. And of course, he comes out of the Obama camp, but he understands the symbolism of blackness because of the fact that he served under Obama himself. You know what I mean? So I'm really looking at this thing as we're being in such a dangerous situation, because we're being led to hell and being told that it's paradise, because we can feel a little bit of the heat the closer we get to the gates. So I really think that we have to wisen up. We get caught up in all this, and it saddens me. I mean, truly, like, breaks my heart because of the fact that we're being pimped. We're being pimped and misled, and we won't find out till we're in the middle of it. As always, we're like, man, she just did such and such. She denied, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this is, it's the way of the world, man. It's
Erica, what's your position on it?
Well, I mean, it's the Supreme Court. We, right? I shouldn't say we, but here I am. There is a conservative majority, so she's not gonna matter in the grand scheme of things, right? Like I don't even know whatever position she has. It's not going to change the balance that we have in the court. So I do believe that this country is very big on performative displays just for the sake of them. I'm too very sick of that. I was sort of unrelated thing. I was just scrolling through on Twitter yesterday, I think. And the county where I live, on the county building, they turned the lights blue and yellow for Ukraine. And I'm like, a week ago, nobody knew where Ukraine was on the map. Like, people in this county don't know where the hell Ukraine is. And all of a sudden, our county steps are blue and yellow. But that's just the kind, we love a performance, right? It's all entertainment.
It's propaganda.
So yeah, I don't think it's gonna matter. But everybody's talking about it, so we got to talk about it too.
Yeah. I don't mind it happening in the sense that, I think we're at a stage where we're not going to go back to completely all white crackers, but I think the contradictions between elite Black folks, bourgeoisie Black folks who work on behalf of capital and imperialism and on white supremacy, whether they understand that or not, I think it brings that out. And so I don't mind it in that respect. In terms of like I think that brings out other contradictions. Having her there, just like having Clarence Thomas there, brought out contradictions in terms of the analysis around race and class and white supremacy. So again, I think it's always the onus for me is, and again, unless like folks who believe otherwise, unless we build something that's bigger, badder, and or that's reaching people, we're going to be in this state, forever. So.
Hey,
but I think for the white mass, I just feel like for the white masses, having her there, it's just like, see, things are better. That's the part I hate about the representation.
Well, for the white liberal masses, for the conservative ones, it makes them want to burn it down more.
Yes.
Which again is probably where we're at.
Yes, you're right. But I just feel like, you can do it too. Look at her. And I just get so sick of that. I'm almost like Kalonji, not that I want to be saying this, but I'm almost
Erica,
like Kalonji.
The riot starter Brown.
Start a riot, Erica.
Give me a white man. Give me a white man and make it easier. And I don't have to feel like, I'm not living my life good enough because I'm not on the Supreme Court or,
Your enemies are too smart for that now. They've done that. That's been the history. They're like, you know what? We can, even if our dumb Southern cousins want A, we're going to help them along because they may want this, but we understand that just gets us looking bad internationally, or that just causes more strife domestically. So how do we cool that out? Again, we put these elites in place, give people something shiny and new to say, hey, it looks like me, so we need to support it, and then we'll kill off all the militants, right? So our struggle is now about voting rights. Our struggle is now about policy. Our struggle is not about self-determination and freedom, even if some people use that language when they want to organize. But the struggle is about inclusion, and the state knew that. And the state says this is a better mousetrap, and this is the mousetrap we're going to use from now on.
I want to point something out too, because some people are confused into thinking that I'm saying that yes, we need it to be cold, we need it to be the worst treatment, so on and so forth. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm simply saying is I like my coffee to be coffee. You understand what I'm saying? I like if my coffee is supposed to be strong, then that's what I want it to be. If I don't want euphemisms, I don't want nice terms for brutal realities. I want it what it is. If I'm sentenced to death, I don't want to be thinking that I'm making plans for years on down the line. Tell me what it is so I could deal with it the way it needs to be dealt with. You know what I'm saying? And it's not an individual thing. I'm saying that as a people, as a nation, as a group, we have to have a sovereign state of mind, but not only a sovereign state of mind, we have to be we don't have to be politically correct unless the politics are correct. We want to be confused, and we want to make it seem like, well, if you're saying this, then you mean that. No, I mean, if you have a black face, but you're still operating under a white supremacist paradigm, then I mean, you are what you are. You know what I'm saying? I don't need a pretty black woman cop to gun me down. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the police are the police, and we had to be clear about that. I want to point something out real quick because I totally spoke, and I would mention this. 11 a.m. today, I'll be on a panel discussion with some of our African brothers and sisters from throughout the diaspora in support of African History Month and the 126th Ottawa victory. the panel topic is called Eradicating Western Media Biases on Africa, African Stories by Africans. I'll be representing us Black folks here in America. There'll be brothers and sisters from Cameroon and I believe Gambia and a few other places, Ethiopia, that'll be on this panel. That's at 11 o'clock. There's some discrepancies time-wise, so check in at 11. If not, it'll be noon because of the fact that I think that they have Eastern Standard Time listed as maybe the third or so on the list. You know, if you all are available, definitely tap in with me. It'll be on the United States of Africa YouTube channel. So type in United States of Africa channel and should be able to pull it up on YouTube.
Well, all right. Erica,
Anyway.
thank you for joining. I like this. So this is going to be you're going to jump in when you can kind of thing?
You know, when I can. I didn't even get to put makeup on. My head is extra big today, but I came on for y'all. But, you know,
it's all right. We glad you came on.
New episode of Brokish.
Big ass head and everything.
No. Yes, my big ass head and the new episode of Brokish today.
No doubt. That's
what time is? Do you know what time it's dropping?
It's already out there.
Boom! All right, that's up and running for folks to check it out on Black Power Media. We see y'all. Oh, there's a delay there. We see y'all tomorrow. We out.
No doubt.